Ultra Instinct Goku was recently just introduced in Dragon Ball Super episode 110, sending fans into a frenzy at its speed, its power, its new abilities, and with giving us a lot of unanswered questions. Here on Mastar Media today, we're going to explain Ultra Instinct Goku with all of the information that we have today. Keep in mind there still is a mysterious part about this that I'm obviously not able to describe, but I can give you everything in detail that we know so far, including what this mastery of self movement is, with a detailed breakdown of when Whis first talked about it way back in early Dragon Ball Super. First of all, there are three primary elements to Goku's new form, his new transformation, this Ultra Instinct form. The first one being obviously Ultra Instinct, aka Mastery of Self-Movement. The second one is that Goku has essentially broken his shell. He is able to now ascend to a place, to the level of the gods, an entire world that he didn't know existed before. And this could only be the beginning of what that new form entails. I'm going to talk about that a little bit more in this video. And the third one is that he absorbed some of the Genki Dama, but the Genki Dama absorption has nothing really to do with the new form itself. Just absorbing the Genki Dama acted essentially as a battery for him so that he could keep fighting, so that he was able to use the form for a little bit, because before that point he was pretty much already completely exhausted and out of energy. So let's start with Mastery of Self-Movement, aka Ultra Instinct, which is what we're now going to be titling it based on the translations. When Beerus says Ultra Instinct, this is what Goku has managed to learn. All of the other gods are almost scared, and it sends them into a frenzy because they can't believe that a mere mortal was able to master Ultra Instinct, something that even they struggle with, they may not even be able to do. Beerus, we know, as Whis says, cannot do Ultra Instinct, and we also know that Beerus is probably one of the strongest gods of destruction. So if Beerus cannot do Ultra Instinct, that means the other gods probably cannot as well. On Dragon Ball Super episode 18, Goku and Vegeta are training with Whis on Beerus's planet. Whis basically tells them that you guys need to stop. You're both lacking speed. You can be way stronger than this if you're able to learn this technique that even gods of destruction have trouble learning. This technique is Mastery of Self-Movement, aka Ultra Instinct, in which he says that because you have to think before you act, because your nervous system takes time to send messages from your brain to your body, your speed is being limited. It takes time for your senses and brain commands to reach your bodies. What you need to do is teach every part of your body to respond on its own. It's something that even Beerus has not mastered yet, and if you can do it, if you're able to master Ultra Instinct, you can overcome any danger. You can avoid anything because your body will instantly dodge any attack that's thrown your way. We also learned that Whis is able to do it, so presumably one of the reasons the angels are so strong is because they all have Ultra Instinct. When we see it in action, Goku's moves seem almost completely abnormal, as his body it seems like it's almost phasing in and out of reality, but it's not. This is just how they're animating how his body is moving on its own in order to stop attacks. It's giving him this huge advantage in battle because his body is able to react without his brain having to react. It's almost as if his limbs have brains of their own, but there is no time needed for thinking. So essentially, as your opponent is attacking, you've already blocked it. As your opponent is just about to start swinging their punch, you're already in the blocking position or the dodging position. So this makes Goku nearly impossible to touch, essentially. The second point is that Goku has broken the shell into a deeper level of potential, aka the next level of power. Goku's resisting the Genki Dama has broken his limits. He was really pushed to the line in order to survive, in order to resist the damage from the Genki Dama, and that forced him to break his limits in order to survive, essentially. What this is telling us is that Goku all along had this form deep within him. This is something that he just couldn't obtain until he was pushed to the ultimate limit. Now, it doesn't really come out of anger like a base Super Saiyan form does. It seems like this form is drawn out of a need for survival, but in order to get this form, in order to get to this level of power, you have to already be at some sort of power level limit, which I believe Vegeta is at as well. So I think Vegeta could get this form as well, but he has to be pushed to his limit. He has to be to the point where he's about to die in order to get it. I think that is really the catalyst for reaching this new form. However, there is a mysterious element to this new form yet, which we have not yet discovered, and that is this element of heat that even Whis doesn't know what it is. And they talk about this heat 3 times, I believe, in episode 110. Tien mentioned it, Whis mentioned it, and then Jiren mentioned it. What is this mysterious heat coming from Goku's body? Now, his aura does not look like heat per se, but a flame, you know, if it gets hot enough, can turn blue, so maybe it's something like that. But this element of heat is something that's going to need to be described later on in the series as we learn more about what this new form is, why it is generating so much heat, you know, what exactly is going on with Goku's body in this heat and this new power. So that is the mysterious element of this new form that I cannot describe for you guys yet. If you have any theories for that, please leave it below. In Dragon Ball Super episode 18, we also learned some additional information from Whis about this new form, in which Whis says these two can just barely sense a god's energy. If that castle were the power level of a god, they would only be this power level of this tree. And if they don't increase their energy level before becoming a Super Saiyan, then it'll be insignificant even if they do get stronger. They won't be able to see the world beyond. And that is the key factor, the world beyond. This is what Whis is talking about the new form is. He talked about this all the way back in Dragon Ball Super episode 18. At least he hinted that there is a possibility that the base form is really where the money is at. And I think that is why Goku's new form looks like his base form, just with silver eyes. It's really that the base form gives you the accessibility to increase your power way more than if you train in a Super Saiyan. I mean, there's a possibility that, you know, this is way back in episode 18. Over at Toei, they probably didn't even know if the series would get as far as to episode 110, so it's kind of hard to say here that they were planning on this new transformation the entire time. I mean, they may not have even known that the show would go on this far, but for some reason, I kind of feel like they left this open. They kind of dropped that nugget in there. As Whis says, the world beyond, it kind of makes me feel like they left that in there purposefully, so if they ever decided they do want to give Goku a new form, they're kind of acknowledging that it would be something to do with the base form. And there have always been a lot of theories that Goku's base form would be the ultimate form, and that's essentially what this is Goku's Ultra Instinct form. It pretty much looks like his base form, just with silver eyes. Now, there's one more super important factor here, and that is the Genki Dama acting as a battery for this new form, which leads me to believe that there is a small possibility that what we saw in episode 110 is not the final stage of his transformation. Now, if the Genki Dama only acted as a battery and only gave him a small amount of energy in his new form, then who's to say what would happen if Goku was at full power and completely rested and turned into this new form? Because he only had a little bit of power left, I think there is a very good chance that this is a kind of like false Super Saiyan in a way, a midway transformation, that he is not in the full form because he's so short on power, and that later in this tournament we may actually get to see him at full power go into this form and see the full final transformation, which I think would be completely silver. I think the eyes being silver but the hair still being black with just silver tints could mean that it's kind of like a halfway transformation, and that if he's at full power, the entire thing would be silver, not just the eyes. Now, the thing is, Goku, even in this new form, was not really able to hurt Jiren. He was able to scratch him very slightly, and he was getting better and stronger as he was fighting, since we saw Piccolo recognize that every attack he's doing is getting stronger, sharper, faster. However, he was still not at Jiren level. Although it was fun to watch and it seemed like Goku got a huge power boost, it still didn't seem like he could beat Jiren in this new form, and that's why I kind of have a theory here, guys, and that is that when Goku Goku fights Jiren again, once he's rested and has his full power back and he goes back into this transformation, we may actually get to see the full transformation. I think there is just a possibility here that this is not the full form. I think that we're going to learn that this is the true Super Saiyan God. When Goku goes full power in this new form, he looks completely silver, and he's going to be able to beat Jiren and win the entire tournament. So that is Ultra Instinct Goku explained, guys. Obviously, there is a huge mystery here with the heat, with if this is the full transformation or not, but we do understand Mastery Self-Movement and what the Genki Dama did to him. You also hear Goku roar, and you hear this almost demonic roar coming from him, which some people have speculated that that is the deep power coming from within Goku. That is, you know, the next level, or there's something interesting going on there. However, they did that a lot in Dragon Ball Z. Whenever somebody was super powered and they would roar, they put this kind of like monk ohm in there to emphasize the power of that roar. They gave it to Gohan when he turned Super Saiyan 2 for the first time. They gave it to Goku a few times. I think they were just kind of trying to do that here in order to emphasize the power of Goku. But this is Goku's Ultra Instinct form explained, guys. Leave your comments below as to what you think the heat is, and if you think that this is just a midway transformation. The more I rewatch this episode, the more I look into the details of the form, I'm starting to believe that this is possibly just a midway transformation, and when Goku is at full power, he may look even different. He may have completely silver hair, eyes, eyebrows, everything, and that's when he's going to be the power level to beat Jiren. We know that, you know, he's getting stronger the more he fights in this form, so that's yet to be seen. But honestly, even if this was the final form, I would be super happy with it, because I think it looks awesome, and it plays onto the whole theory that Goku's ultimate form would be one in his base form that doesn't waste any energy, and would be the most efficient fighting form for Goku, for a Saiyan. Something that you can use your maximum power in, doesn't waste any energy or stamina, and you'd be like basically the toughest fighter, as strong as a god, or even stronger than gods at this point. Thanks for stopping by Mastar Media today. Leave your comments below, guys, and I'll talk to you tomorrow with another Dragon Ball video.